Welcome to a very special live ECIU podcast from the Didactic Digital Education Lab at the University of Stavanger. My name is Tim Marshall and I'm a project advisor for the ECIU, working with the wonderful Work Package 7 user experience team. And over the last 2 days, we've had the third ECIU focus group, and this time the theme was developing an ECIU alumni network. And I'm here with...
My name is Daniyar from ECIU University of Technology.
Valeriia from ECIU University of Technology.
I'm Mahammad from University of Technology.
And we're going to be talking today about what they took away from this experience at the focus group here at the university. So, to everyone, what were your first impressions of Stavanger when you got here?
Oh, it was very beautiful. I liked the campus of the university very much. It's the open space and it's very green, so very cozy. I liked it, all of the buildings around. It looks quite modern. So the campus overall made me very, very happy.
From my perspective, honestly, it's very calm, very peaceful here. The nature is just spectacular, and honestly, Norway so far looks nothing I've been to before. So, very interesting experience.
Well, the first thing that impressed me a lot was the prices here. It was really crazy, like by going from airport to the city center were really extremely expensive. And it really surprised me that Scandinavian prices are like this. But in general, the city itself, the campus of University of Stavanger really impressed me. It's the third time I'm seeing the university campus outside of my university. And the technologies, the rooms, the workshop places that they provide really impressed me.
Oh, that's fantastic to hear. So had any of you met each other before, any of the other students at the focus group?
Yeah, I do believe that we met each other already before. And of course, I've been meeting almost everyone who participated today before on the other ECIU events. For example, during the forum or during the Student Ambassador Leadership Training Days in December of 2025.
For me, for example, the only familiar face was Daniyar, as we also happened to study together. But I think that with the rest of the guys, we had a great connection over these 2 days. So I'm very glad.
Yeah, last year I have met the Daniyar first time during the ECIU AI hackathon. So about the rest of the focus group people, yeah, I have seen Eddie before, first time at University of Technology when the ECIU forum happened first time. Also Joao. So yeah, it was really nice to see the familiar faces.
Yeah, that's great. Sounds like a mix of familiar faces, but also a lot of new people and new connections to help what we're trying to achieve with building the ECI community beyond studies. And that's why we're focusing on the alumni approach here, because we want to keep people connected after they graduate from the universities and keep them connected to ECIU. So what was it that attracted you to this offer to come to the focus group here in Stavanger?
So basically, since I am the ECIU's student ambassador as well, the discussion of the alumni project between the ambassadors were going on since the spring 2025. And we had even the special group on the WhatsApp community of the ambassadors discussing and suggesting the ideas on how can we create this kind of alumni community, on what we can do and how in general we can engage the ambassadors who are going to soon graduate from the universities and how can we keep in touch and still stay active within the ECIU community and what we can do to reach this. We were trying different kind of approaches, but we unfortunately yet didn't end up with some final solution. But I do believe that especially after this focus group, we will be moving at least even closer to find some great solution.
Yeah, thanks so much, Daniyar. And Mahammad, what do you think?
Well, in my case, I'm working as an international relations coordinator at ECIU Alumni Center, and I'm in this role more than 7 months. And when I have heard about this focus group, I thought that it will be a great idea to make some kind of workshop here in Stavanger. Because right now I'm doing the new strategic plan for the next autumn semester for our university, and our alumni center are is always open to collaborate with different organizations. We are always open to collaborate with ECIU University at the same time. So by coming here, I was expecting to get new ideas from the students because I'm run out of it already, and I needed some new vision from every student, which I thankfully achieved.
Fantastic. And Valeriia?
So, as Daniyar already mentioned, a lot of us are approaching graduation, and I'm also one of these students. And as I already have a quite broad experience with the ECIU, I would love to stay connected. And the topic of our discussion was the alumni network and how to stay connected after we are leaving schools and stepping into the adulthood. So it was a very interesting discussion, and I think that we have plenty of ideas on how to create something new and meaningful.
No, that's great. Mahammad, you presented as well. You opened the focus group with your workshop. Tell us a bit about how that was for you to be presenting to the group and what you would try to achieve with that session.
It was really amazing. And to be honest, it's the second time I'm doing such a focus group. First time it was in Riga. And what I really liked this time, I really felt that the students are really from different countries. They have different vision, and they have their own motivation and the roadmap of how this alumni community can be built. I already summarized some ideas that I think we will discuss with our team very soon. And it went very well, and I'm really thankful for everyone who contributed in this workshop, because without you, I think we wouldn't achieve such a great knowledge.
So a question to everyone really is, was there any difference between what you expected to achieve and to be doing when you got here, and now that we're reflecting on this after the experience, how do you see that? Is there anything different?
In general, when I was applying to this, I was already prepared that we most probably will discuss different kind of approaches. Initially, I wasn't expecting that we're gonna have this kind of broad vision, starting from, for example, of Kaunas University of Technology, which was actually great because after the two presentations from both representatives of the Kaunas University of Technology, we had at least a broader vision of what we can do, and basically some more ideas on how we can implement this within the ECIU University, which actually wasn't the initial, scope of what we were planning to do here, at least in my perspective.
Yeah, I was very surprised as well, because I thought that we will be mainly focusing on our experience within the scope of the ECIU, but we started off very broadly discussing in the first part of the workshop our prior experiences and the opportunities which we took for the self-development, and honestly the stories people told were fascinating, and I was also constantly thinking that everybody is, so different and doing so many interesting things, but yet somehow we are all together here today and we are united by the same idea.
During those focus groups that we had, I agree with both of you guys. Every student had their own story, let's say, including me, about those initiatives that they were joining and why they were joining. And I can say that every student had their own success story at the same time, and motivation by why they were joining for those initiatives, including the ECIU.
So apart from Mahammad's fantastic session, were there any other particular highlights or parts of the program that you really enjoyed that stood out to you?
During the last session, we had a great, I would say, not even debate, but a conversation on the topic whether the people who didn't have any prior experience in the ECIU should be included or have the possibility to join the ECIU alumni community, because we were having this kind of arguments that people who already participated in some kind of the ECIU events, they will have more I guess, motivation, and they're more eager to contribute to the ECIU community and maybe do some stuff to keep the ECIU community active and live. And whether, on the other hand, the people who didn't participate in the ECIU events when they were the students, maybe they would be interested like for one event or just to travel somewhere, but not to go on and somehow contribute to it or take the opportunities from it on the maximum. But at the same time, there was also the argument that, for example, a lot of people know about ECIU only one semester before, or even like maybe a couple of months before their graduation. And we had even the examples of this kind of people here during the focus group. And for them, they actually, after they been to one event of the ECIU, they realized that it's a really nice community and you can basically do a lot of things with the ECIU. So they will, of course, they would love to continue working with the ECIU, but unfortunately, since they're graduating, for now yet, there are no such possibility.
At some point of our discussion, we reached the point where we discussed that like what people have in mind when they are actually taking the decision to take one or other opportunity. And it was very interesting to observe the difference within the approaches. So some people were a little bit more central, relying on their intuition or inner voice, the gut feeling. Some people had to strategically sit down and analyze everything. And some people really had to talk about it with their friends and family. It once again highlights that we are all different and our approaches to the similar issues are very different.
I love the final part of our second time of the workshop where we were discussing about, okay, what kind of benefits can alumni students get, what we can provide them and so on. Because we are all from different universities, from different countries, and there's no guarantee that we will stay after graduation, we will stay at the same place. So the main goal was, okay, how we can keep in touch after the graduation. And one of the most important things is that, okay, if we can't meet physically, how we can make it happen online and how we can make it engaging and people will be motivated to join. That, I think, was one of the main questions that I tried to find out and the answer here.
So I'm going to come back to something you said, Daniyar, about people that didn't know about the ECIU right until the end of their studies. And you mentioned as well about being an ambassador. So kind of in that role of selling the ECIU, how would you describe what ECIU is all about to someone that hasn't done it and is going to graduate soon but would like to be connected to it? How would you describe it?
Usually when I do describe it to students in general as the ambassador on different kind of events, I just say that the ECIU is a broad network that offers the different kind of courses, both online and on-site. For these courses, you can get the ECTS credits. So basically, that's the simplest way you can describe ECIU to the students in general, because especially when you mention that they can get the ECTS credits for that, at least in our university, it makes them really interested and investigated in opening the ECIU Engage website and at least take a look on what courses does ECIU suggest to students.
Yeah. Would you agree with this? Yeah.
I would like to jump here very quickly and say that actually Daniyar was the person who first introduced me to the ECIU because I saw the advertisement a lot of times in our university, but he was actually the person who explained it to me and because of whom I tried it for the first time and I absolutely loved it.
Oh, it's so nice. And now you're here together as well. Fantastic.
Yep, exactly.
What do you think? How would you conceptualize ECIU and pitch it? If you were to pitch it to someone, like why it's worth joining?
The first thing what I say all the time is, do you want to enhance your CV and motivation better? Because during your first 2 years of studies, what the students mostly struggle is finding internship here, right? And what I say all the time that by joining to those challenges or micro models, which is also provided by the industrial companies or even governmental, can give you a chance to work on the projects. For example, when I was as a student who was joining for those challenges, I had the possibility to make the 2 prototypes, and by providing those prototypes by including these prototypes in my CV, I had the chance to get the internship, my first internship in Belgium. And I have quite many examples of different students from different universities who had the same thing. All the time we are saying that, yeah, it's good for the traveling and so on. But what I love the most at the ECIU University is that they are giving you a possibility to expand your knowledge and works in something more special, which is outside of your study program.
Yeah, so it's building on your core studies, but giving you these extracurricular skills and opportunities that you might not necessarily get. So I'm really interested to hear from you about this. And if you look to kind of your future and potential employment you want, how do you feel ECIU has maybe helped you with that?
I was doing, for example, one of the most interesting projects and the challenges here at the ECIU that was connected to the creating the mobile application that was also helping people to detect the skin cancer in the very early stage. So it was kind of mix of the IT and biology. The biology is a subject that I usually never study and I'm not really keen into it. But since it was this kind of opportunity, I really wanted to try myself and to somehow contribute to it. And yes, thanks to it, I have developed some kind of new set of skills that I have used during my internship right now. And I have developed also a new language of programming that I try to right now advance, and I am taking the course right now. I need to develop it even more.
Yeah, that's great.
I study IT in my university, and ECIU was a perfect opportunity to also take up extra modules which are related to my field, to maybe broaden, maybe repeat some knowledge which I already had. And apart from the technical skills, in the University of Kaunas, I took a lot of modules which were also related to the soft skills, like PBL projects, like time management modules. And yes, so that means that ECIU can help you broaden your skills and knowledge in all the spheres, because I think that technical and soft skills are equally important for the future, and it all helps you to find the job.
Yeah, music to my ears to hear PBL, which for anyone not familiar, the acronym is problem-based learning.
Yes.
It's part of a field of experiential active learning methods like challenge-based learning, which is a research interest of mine. And what we're trying to do here at ECIU is to give these transversal skills like communication, critical thinking, collaboration that kind of transcend just the content knowledge of a specific discipline, and hopefully prepare students for the 21st century workplace, because you're going to need to be working with different kinds of people in diverse settings and learn to collaborate, learn how to hopefully resolve conflict peacefully. So really good to hear you enjoyed the PBL. Mahammad?
So as I have mentioned before, by joining for my first 2 challenges, I had the chance to get my first internship offer, about which I'm really thankful for the ECIU University. And also 7 months ago, luckily, I was on the right place, right time with right people. In my university, during the student ambassador meeting, I have met my future manager that time at Alumni Center. Yeah, she was just introducing her organization, what they are doing there, and so on. And together with ambassadors, we were discussing how we can collaborate, what should be improved, and etc. And later, my manager said, if you're interested about full-time or part-time job opportunities, just write me an email so we can keep in touch. So that's what I did later. So once again, thanks for ECIU.
Yeah, really glad to hear. It's been useful for all 3 of you in different ways. But during these 2 days in the focus group, did you discuss concrete things that would keep you connected, particular activities, things like website, or tell me about what you came up with in your discussions?
Yeah, for sure. So we were discussing different kind of ways of how the alumni can know about the ECIU or maybe just keep engaged. At least in my opinion, the things that were really important for the alumni is the events organized by the institutions, some maybe big events by the universities where alumni can be invited. And at these kind of places, for example, student ambassadors of ECIU, they can be present and they can also represent the ECIU, explain what are the course and what are the ECIU is, what ECIU offers, not only for the students but for the alumni. The second most important thing, in my opinion, was of course the newsletters, because most alumni who are interested in the university life, or maybe who are interested in the ECIU, they can sign up for the newsletter, and then they can get all of the important information or maybe all of the interesting information about the ECIU to their emails, and then they can check, and then they can just be engaged, or they can participate in the events that were suggested. And the third most important thing for me, it was the websites, because if you keep the website updated and if you keep them open, it's really easy, because, for example, if the student graduates from the university, he loses the access to the university email, but he can still look for the website and see all of the maybe important news or also the updates if he is not subscribed for the newsletter.
Wow, lots of different possibilities developed in a short space of time. That's great to hear. How about you guys?
So we were also discussing what do people need after they graduate from the universities, and obviously I think everybody agreed that the ECIU approach for the alumni should be changed a little bit, and I think that in the future we will have the events which will be more tailored for the job opportunities and how to enhance yourself professionally. So I think that maybe some potential companies collaborations are coming, and in general the events for the alumni community will be different. Also, it was very fascinating for me to see that almost everyone agreed that it's better to see each other in person. It means that people really feel this need to meet offline, to really talk in person, to feel the energy. And I would say that in general, what will keep us connected is our common love and passion for the ECIU, because, once you try it, I think you never go back, and the connections you make here are really long lasting, and I think everyone will be very happy to see each other even after we are done with the universities.
Yeah, so I see that we have discussed so many things, and what really gave me the hope that we will be able to implement this was after during the first day of our workshop. When we already concluded everything, some students came next to me and said, we would like to join to your alumni center to work with you as an interns. Doesn't matter if it's going to be virtually or on-site, so we will be happy to do some changes, the implementation and so on. Also, what I really like, the ideas of the students, especially about doing some kind of events for them, the awards, for example, which is happening in our forum, so we can give some spot for the alumni students to give some special awards for the most active ones, or the one who made some special project or put some impact to the ECIU University, and etc. But what do I believe the most is that in the near future, alumni students will not be just the learners, but also will be as a teacher. So in the next future, these alumni students who were taking the courses before will be the challenge providers or even the creators of the micro models.
Yeah, I think that peer-to-peer development is really important, because you have a kind of pathway through your studies, through the ECIU courses, and then you can, as you said, build the alumni through this kind of peer-to-peer teaching and training as well. And I think that's all good for CV building and those transversal skills I mentioned before. But we've gone quite deep on the content of the focus group, which is great, but we can lighten it up a little bit for the last section of the podcast and just discuss a bit about what you did outside of the kind of teaching and learning content of the focus group. How was the social experience here coming to Stavanger? Tell our listeners about that.
Oh, it's as usually great. I really love every time doing some social activities with all of the students from the ECIU. We were exploring the city a bit on the first day. Then we were going to sing some great and legendary songs in the karaoke, to get some drinks and just to have some great time in the evening, and to spend some hours building these kind of connections that we can bring to the next ECIU events, and of course finally to the ECIU forum, where we gonna meet up again and probably just remember all of these moments that we had this year on the different kind of ECIU events.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to as a good karaoke singer?
Yes, exactly.
Who was anyone that you remember being particularly good? Any memories of songs last night? Yourself? You a good karaoke singer?
I cannot tell that I'm the best one, but I can give a big shout out to the Eddie for his singing skills. He was just amazing singer, because everyone in the karaoke, everyone from the, I guess, Norwegian people audience, they were clapping when he was singing.
There you go, Eddie. There's your shout out. Yeah.
As I'm currently spending some time in Portugal because I'm doing my Erasmus, I was very lucky to meet some Portuguese people during those 2 days, and I think that after I'm back to Portugal next week, we are going to have a tour, because as locals, they are going to show me around, and I think this is gonna be perfect. Also, after these 2 days, I think now I will have a place to stay in Italy, in Sweden, in Finland, so this is perfect.
Oh, that's great. And that's so nice that you'll have locals showing you around. And I really want to give a big thanks to Irfan and Alexandra, who are our ECIU student ambassadors here at Stavanger, that helped out a lot with hopefully making it a great experience for you guys. So the ambassador program is wonderful. And again, it's that peer-to-peer support, not just the learning content, but with the community building as well. Mahammad, anything that you particularly want to share on the social side of things as well?
Not really, to be honest. I didn't have enough time to socialize this time, because right now I'm final year master student, so I'm mainly focused on my thesis right now, scientific papers that I'm writing, so I didn't really have enough time to explore the city and so on, but hopefully today I will do that. So yeah, I'm happy that you guys had at least a possibility to sing a song, because I'm really a big fan of karaoke. At Konus we have it. So yeah, I'm sad that I didn't have this opportunity. Maybe for the next time.
Yeah. Make sure you relax as well as work so hard. But good to hear that you'll have some time hopefully.
Yes, sorry. Here I also wanted to jump in and to thank you all of the local ambassadors for their help here and for all of the advices.
Yeah, great. So we're going to be wrapping up, but I just want to hear a bit from all of you. What are your plans for the future, for your future with ECIU, for yourselves personally? Just if you want to share a few things with the listeners.
Since probably this is my last cadency as the ECIU student ambassador, and probably as the ECIU lead ambassador, I would love to still stay connected with the ECIU initiatives and with the ECIU community in general, because I am the part of, I would say, many ECIU groups, and not only among the ambassadors, but also among the student council, since I am also the part of the IT team in the student council and the IT steering group. So I would love to keep going. I would love to contribute to the ECIU to at least also have this alumni community initially and finally being created, because this is the thing, as I already mentioned, we've been discussing with ambassadors starting from the last year. I would love to continue doing maybe some kind of small educational opportunities, or maybe the projects with the ECIU. So for the nearest future, I would love to stay connected.
Wow, wonderful.
Yeah, I can say the same. So even though I'm graduating, I'm definitely staying connected to the ECIU, especially after the session we had. I think that the future alumni community will be looking extremely good. So we are definitely staying and definitely willing to contribute.
So since I'm the final year master student at my home university, and still I'm planning to study a PhD, probably this will be my last year as a student ambassador. But I can say that that will be the end of my journey at ECIU University. First of all, I would like to thank our local ECIU University team in our university, because by comparing what we have done in the last 3 years, I can see a huge difference in a good way. For example, when I was participating in the challenges in 2023, most of the students had no idea what's the ECIU University and what we are doing here. Now I can see that even the first year students are very motivated to join for the challenges, and I have pretty many examples of students who already participated in the challenges and still they want to continue. So I would love to thank my team, our local ambassadors and also central ambassadors, by doing those initiatives to promote ECIU University in the highest level. Secondly, what about my future plans in this organization? Well, I'm planning to join for the Research Innovation Hub to work on the research with different universities, because I was always open to collaborate with the students, with the teachers, and etc. And since this is more international organization where we're trying to change the learning methods and so on, I would be very happy to be a part of this hub, let's say.
Oh, that's wonderful. Any final reflections you want to share before we sign off?
I would like to say, if anyone considering joining the ECIU challenges, just do it. You will definitely love it, and try something new.
And what's the website? Got the website to hand?
Go to the ECIU Engage website.
Yeah, so that's engage.eciu.eu. Hopefully you've been inspired by our conversation. Thank you so much to Daniyar, to Mahammad and Valeriia. I've really enjoyed talking to you, and to the rest of the students that joined us from around the ECIU for this focus group. So if you've been inspired by what you've heard, please check out the website for future learning opportunities and events. Finally, from me, then, all that's left to say is ECIU connects you for life, and thank you for listening.